That's right, my friends, another set, and for those of us in the commoner world, it means not only more cards, but also some deratings. So in today's episode, let's recap what I see as being the top cards from the Hunted from the commoner format perspective.
A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando.
Hey there, my flesh and blood commoner friends, and welcome back to the channel. That's right, it's release week for High Seas, and that means, well, many things is what that means. But today, specifically, what we're talking about are my top picks for commoner cards out of the set that I think will be impactful overall, plus kind of an overall review from a certain point of view, as it may be. Now, I do want to give a disclaimer. When I did this for the last set, I kind of missed some big ones that were way at the bottom because, that's right, Trot Along and Nip of the Heels. Those were kind of big deals for the commoner, for kind of everything, but certainly for the commoner format like my Kassai deck. So, you know what? Let me know in the comments below as I'm going through this. What do you think the big cards are from the set? So I wanted to start off today with one that I don't know will be super impactful, but especially because it's only in the red. So yes, Life for Life has been derated, but only in the red version. So the red is now a common. Well, has been printed as a common, is open legal, but not as a blue. And the reason that that's interesting is because I think if you were Benji, I think you'd play this as a blue, not as a red. But it's still very playable. So it's going to be interesting to see who tries and capitalizes on this. I don't know that Ira plays this, but there's a lot of options around this. This set very much went into, like, if you have less life cycle, there's a whole cycle around that now. But this being only the red, I think is not as windmill slam dunk into the format as it could be. But again, I want to make sure we're all clear that this has been derated, which is relevant. Now, let's talk Necromancer, because that's kind of the thing on everybody's mind going into this set. So Necromancer actually has, you know, when we compare, I know Necromancer's not Illusionist, but from a certain point of view, right? Let's go back and look at, like, Jermai. None of her dragons were. Really, the only thing she had available to her is her Ashwings. We've talked about, it's been years. We've got it down. But Necro here, he has 6 pretty decent allies at his disposal. You know, some of them are like big boys, like, you know, Schwabi's down there. I mean, he's a 3, which is kind of, actually 3 is not great, like that 4 on Cuddy Shark, or even the 5 on good old Shelly there. But there's enough allies here to actually do the archetype. Furthermore, has the Bones series available to him. Angry, Burly, and Jittery, and of course Restless. And kind of just fills out that suite of what you want to do to get stuff where you need it to go. Maybe he plays some Opt or something in the format. But typically, the reason I want to bring this up is typically when we see something brand new, heck, if we even look at like the last 3 or 4 sets, aside from Aurora, who was fine only because she picked up a lot of the Briar cards, we haven't really seen very many commoner legitimate heroes. Whether Gravy will be legitimate or not in the truest sense, I don't know. But certainly is not as far up a creek as, like, you know, when Arachne came to the format in Dynasty, and I realized that was many moons ago, right? Closing in on 3 years ago. Yeah, that's true. Closing in on 3 years ago, Arachne was not super good in the format, but I think Gravy's probably landing a little better in terms of that. So we'll see where that goes. All right, now I want to move into Mech, and I'm sorry, Puffin fans. These are the only Mech cards you're going to get today. I can't understand at this point how she fits into Commoner. I don't know if she does. She might. And again, if she does, let me know below. Please let me know, because I'd love to learn it. I'm just not seeing it right now. That said, these 3 cards right here, Titan, Perk Up, and Draw Back the Hammer are all 1/4s into any Mechanologist attack. So yes, they do things with cogs and there's all that. But remember, I've liked Charge Up. Charge Up is, good, not great. Works with the hyperdriver, obviously. But part of the other reason I like that is because it helps stave off fatigue, right? And at a very 20,000 foot level, you should assume in a boost archetype that every card costs you 2 cards to play, right? Because of that. And if you, not because of that, but because of boosting. And that's not entirely true, but like you understand what I'm driving at. And I like the fact that you can come in for like an 8 because it really throws off that fatigue math. Furthermore, these working on next mech attack, right? Like recharge is like the next attack you boost. These work off next attack, which means that in theory, you can just pistol shot here or whatever, insert Mechanologist weapon of choice. But these are interesting. I think there might be something here because now you have Titan, Perk Up, Drawback that work on your gun. Plus you have, I forget what the name is. I will go figure it out and put it up. But there's recharge and there's a counterpart to recharge as well that works on boosted cards. So in theory, you have 5 pumps, but I think you want to look into these. I mean, coming in for a pistol shot for 6 after a couple boosts, I find that to be interesting. I actually find it to be more than interesting. I know that you're just interesting a lot, and bless y'all's hearts. All right, now let's move into what I think is probably going to be a windmill slam into a lot of decks in Commoner and in Project Blue too, is Rally the Coast Guard. This thing's a 3/7, only defends 2, but it's got the whole freaking thing, right? You chuck a card and you give it +3, not +2, +3. This card's crazy good. This card can potentially come in for 5. I mean, well, not this card because you have to have another card with it. I get it, but Dominate is like a real thing. Guess who's coming this summer? Even Better Starvo. Well, not Even Better Starvo. Sorry. That's not true at all. But Even Better Bravo is what I meant. But, Commoner Starvo Light is coming this summer. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. This is very interesting. Next is Battalion Bark. So this is a 4-drop. So I don't know how necessarily amazing this is going to be. Remember, it is only a pirate card. So now we're getting pretty into the weeds because I think there's... But, in terms of the mech thing, think about that, right? You could 1/4 pistol shot off of a blue 3-card hand 10. It's not too bad. And then you've also got the Battalion Bark off of your blues. Just a casual 9 off of maybe something else. I mean, floating for pummel. Pirate card, though. Put it in perspective, but this is very interesting. Sirens of Safe Harbor. I think this whole series is going to see interest just because of the fact that you can defend with it, you can chuck it, you can attack with it to gain 1. I think does this help Verdance at all? I don't know. Verdance is not super good in Commoner. Maybe. All right, next. Now, I do want to point out, I did a whole video on this last week. I'm sure most yellow folks have seen this at this point, but talking about just my love for the Ranger arrows. And at that point, I'm not going to go super into all of these cards here, but Dry Powder Shot is absolutely phenomenal as a 0/5. It just works. There's potentially archetypes built around this and Headshot together. We have Scouting Shot, which is an amazing pull for an Azalea. Swift Shot with, I don't know on this one actually in terms of, being format breaking. That's a damn good card. And then we have Calling the Big Guns for, it's a baby Take Aim, right? It's everything we wanted Take Aim to be 3-4 years ago. Okay. We also have Glidewell Fins. I find this to be really, is it better? What's interesting about this is it's on rate from a certain point of view with the bracers, right? Which we've all become used to, which is like +1 into the drink, Boltyn shot, right? We get it. But Boltyn shot's still not a common. This, for one, to have to pay into it to do the thing, but it has Battle Worn. Like, what a good counter option. It's generic. Well, I mean, it's generic Ranger, obviously, but like, you get my point. I like it. I actually don't know what's better now. And I think that's a cool thing, right? Because it probably depends on how you want to play. And I think that's really cool. All right, next I just have to give a shout out to the upgraded Nimbleism series, right? We had, in the olden days, we had the Nimbleism series, Nimbleism, Nimble Strike, and then Nimbleism kind of gave way to the Belittle Minnowism series from a certain point of view. And now we have yet another dwarf on a cart, Nimby, which pulls Nimbleism. But then we also have Swift Strike Bracers, which is action destroy this. Your next attack gets +2, but you can only do it if you've done a Nimbleism. I love this. Absolutely love this. I don't know how good this is going to be, but I see some shenanigans. Oats, I'm looking at you, buddy. I see shenanigans. We then have, of course, the Red Spine Manta. Now, what's fun about this is I believe, as of right now, functionally it and Redliner are the same. I think that's true. Within the format, I'm saying, right? I understand the mechanical differences and tri-shotting and all that. But within the format, I think they're functionally the same, but I don't think it's going to be the same. I mean, actually, to be fair, in Commoner, there's more ways to untap things than not. So actually, I take that back. This is probably better than Redliner within the format. I think that to be true. Now, nobody's playing Redliner within the format, but the format has changed. So I think this is worth looking into. Could be a big deal. Now, so we've recapped the whole thing. We haven't recapped the whole thing, but I've given you my list of what I think. But what I'm really challenged with within the whole thing is really understanding Necro. I mean, Necro in general, but Necro in the format, I think, is way more promising than a lot of other classes we've seen in the past in terms of their onboarding. Probably not going to do, you do see more weapons within the format. So I think that by and large, could be some challenges for Necro. But having as many cards available as they do, I think is really good. The big winner out of this set from the budget format standpoint, whether it be common or whether it be anything, hands down, is Ranger. Zero question. Going to be looking at some of those builds for the next one. So anyway, if I missed some stuff that you're very passionate about, please let me know below. Again, last time I missed Nip of the Heels to right along. So I missed stuff, and I need your feedback. Nothing else, my friends. Go Commando.